So the countdown continues. We're continuing our ranking series where we rank players across all positions, in Premier League history. We started with managers, we've done goalkeepers, and now we are going to the centre backs. So without wasting much time, we are giving our top three rankings of the best centre backs in Premier League history. We're starting with you, Victor. Who is at your number three?
Uh, okay. Just to piss you off a little bit, I would have
Hmm.
gone with Ledley King here if it weren't for all the injuries. I would have gone with him. Exactly.
I
Um,
think Victor is on the wrong show. Maybe he's on the
n-
wrong show.
no, 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 no. I'm not. I'm just that little bit older, I guess. I would have picked Ledley King. I would have picked Sami Hyypiä if Liverpool had at least managed the Prem title with him. Um, I do have a couple of other names that I could have easily gone for with this, but I kind of have to go with Vincent Kompany for my third place. He's had a fair few injuries as well, but he was much more influential than the majority of center backs that come up in the Premier League. The titles, the leadership, that oh the hell with it goal against Leicester in 2019, that was amazing. I feel like he had it all. He was just a fantastic center back, and he's my third place pick.
Yeah, Max, you're number three.
Actually, I was choosing between Van Dijk and Company as well, so I left with Van Dijk actually because they're both quite big leaders for their teams. They changed all of the style they played, but for me, Van Dijk a bit better just because of his statistics. He was the one who didn't lose at Anfield for a really long time. He was unable to get passed through like for over a season, right? He wasn't dribbled a single time, and he won a lot of games. He have good clean sheet ratio, so I'll go with him over Company for number three.
Yeah, anyways, without wasting time, Van Dijk is not in my number three, and Company is not in my number three as well. My number three is going to Nemanja Vidic. I think when it comes to center backs, I think this guy is actually pretty underrated. And I rate Van Dijk, but I think there's a lot of recency bias with Van Dijk and the fact that when all these players, I think he's coming up against some very terrible forwards, no offense. If Van Dijk was in the era of Thierry Henry and other forwards, I don't think he will be seen as anything. I think Van Dijk is playing it when he's coming up against guys like Oiland. I mean, he's going to have a very good day in defense. So not to shit on Van Dijk, but I think there's a lot of recency bias, and he has it easy with the number of crap forwards around these days. I'm going with Nemanja Vidic. He had it all. People seem to underrate him because he did not have that aura or that charisma all around him. But when you needed someone to always deliver, and he won loads of titles as well. Nemanja Vidic is my number three. Moving,
Oof.
I can see Victor holding his rage back, but yeah, that's the game, man. Moving on to
Yeah.
number two, Victor, your list number two.
John Terry. Um, Chelsea in the 2000s doesn't happen without Terry. The record 15 goals conceded over a whole campaign doesn't happen without Terry. Mourinho becoming a coaching superstar doesn't happen without Terry. Uh, Ricardo Carvalho without Terry is an average defender. I could go on and on, but Terry is my number two pick.
Max.
Uh, Here's this Rio Ferdinand for me. I mean, I mean, he's a bit above Van Dijk for me. At least he played like more seasons. Also, he was pretty good on the ball. He was so good with his passes. He was winning a lot of headings. Like every corner, he was throwing it out. And overall, I mean, he changed a bit style of defenders playing because, like, a long time ago, they didn't really play with their legs. They didn't do a single pass. They just throw it out and go ahead. So I'll probably go with him on number two for me.
Yeah, Max, I think we're the same there. Ferdinand is my number two as well. He had the longevity because he played for different Premier League sides. I mean, people remember him with United, of course, but he actually came through as a youngster and he impressed, down to his playing days for United, and not to forget that for you to be signed in 2000 for 18 million pounds, which was the British transfer record at the time for a defender, that says a lot about his quality at the time. So for me, Ferdinand too is in my is my number two. Just like Max rightly put it, when you're talking about the idea of modern centre backs, Ferdinand started it, with from 2000s, and I think is my number two pick. So Victor, your number one pick.
Colade, I wonder if you're going to forgive me for leaving Tony Adams out of my top three.
No,
I love them. Don't get me wrong, I love them, but he's out, unfortunately. So for the top spot, I'm going with Virgil van Dijk. You might start shouting your head off about Liverpool bias here, but hear me out. What other defender can you imagine coming into a club in January and reaching the Champions League final not alongside, but despite the likes of Dejan Lovren, Nathaniel Klein, Ragnar Klavan, Loris Karius? Seriously, I think the impact Van Dijk had for Liverpool was just immense. Not just that season, every season since then. The composure with which he deals with every threat is just disarming. I don't agree with him coming up against shit forwards, by the way. I think this is a much more fast-paced era of the Premier League, and even a more average forward looks better today than a lot of what was considered top forwards back in the 90s and early 2000s. And to top it all off with Van Dijk, I think he's every coach's wet dream. He's always available. I don't think the ACL injury was due to his fragility. It was due to Pickford's, I don't know, let's call it recklessness. He doesn't have any off-pitch controversies, just a proper role model, doesn't go screwing around teammates' wives. There are defenders with more trophies, sure, but I just cannot look past him for my number one spot based on the effect he's had on the team, on the effect he's had on the league, and the fact that Liverpool paid the then world record fee for a defender, and I have since then never come across a single person who ever said that he was expensive.
Max, your number one.
I knew it's coming for a week. For some reason, I knew it was coming. But obviously, for me, number one is John Terry. He played like over 500 games for Chelsea. He was their leader for a decade, I'd say. He set a lot of records, actually, like the most goals for defenders at least. He was also very important in all of their finals or title games, I'd say. And I'd say he was the best defender for 5 years when he was on his prime, while Van Dijk primed only like 2 seasons, for me at least. So that's why he's number one.
Yeah, I mean, Max, I agree with you. John Terry is my undisputed number one. When you think of centre backs in the Premier League, your mind immediately goes to John Terry. You don't think Van Dijk, you think John Terry. Your mind immediately goes to John Terry. I mean, I don't really care about what he has done off the pitch. He's not the best role model off the pitch. But speaking about footballing quality and what he has done with Chelsea, the fact that he was always reliable, somebody to score is there. He popped up with some incredible goals as well. Someone to defend is there. Captain, fantastic. He had everything, legend material. I think John Terry is just number one, and he has the most clean sheets as well, even more than a certain Van Dijk. So I still think it was John Terry because he also got a good blend of the older forwards and the new forwards as well. He got a good blend and he still did pretty well. His longevity was off the charts as well. So I think John Terry is my undisputed best centre back in Premier League history. Yeah.
I would just like to point out that I put Terry second and Van Dijk first. This wasn't a landslide victory. Okay, I'll just say that. Like in my opinion, Van Dijk was better, but it was like a 5% thing or 3% thing. Just putting that out there. So in part, I agree with you guys in terms of the stats that back Terry up, but at the same time, I don't think I don't think Terry would have managed to improve Liverpool as much as Van Dijk improved Liverpool. The shit Liverpool was in back then, at least.
I think Terry would have.
Yeah,
I
but
think he would have.
at
My
some time
opinion.
Chelsea was even worse when he joined. I feel like.
Nah, no. You cannot possibly compare Carvalho to Ragnar Klavan, seriously.
Well, I still think Van Dijk now. The jury's out on him. He can't. If he is the best the centre back ever has to offer, there's a problem with the Premier League, man. No offense. There's a
Oh,
problem with the
okay.
Premier League. If he's the best the Premier League has to offer,
So if he stayed at his prime
there's
at
a
least for
problem.
a couple of more seasons, he would probably go near. But
Yep.
as he played
I
only
feel like
two
everybody
great
I feel like
seasons,
everybody bashes that about him, but it's not like his prime, so to speak, has ended with the injury. He had a down season right after the injury, after coming back from that ACL tear. He had a bit of a crap season, I'll give you that. But after that, him at 80% was still better than any other center back in the league.
No, it was not better than Saliba.
yeah, actually,
Oh,
even I
come
can
on.
It
agree
wasn't
that
better than Saliba.
I
It
even
wasn't
I
better
can
than
agree with that.
Saliba, to be fair. Well, anyways,
Yeah.
the jury remains out. I think the only controversial opinion, not so controversial anyway, but the only debatable opinion here to our viewers watching this video is Victor saying that Virgil van Dijk is the best centre back in Premier League history. He gave some pretty solid points, but if you ask me, I think there's a lot of Liverpool bias going into that opinion. A huge Liverpool bias going into their opinion. I think if Victor was a Chelsea, United, or Arsenal fan, I don't think he would have said Van Dijk is the best. But
Yeah,
we'll
he
let
would have.
our viewers.
No, of course not. I would have said Maguire is the best.
Yeah, at the moment they're on the same level, let's say.
Van Dijk
Anyways,
and
we'll let
Maguire.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Good lord.
at some point the debate was actually close.
Yeah.
At some point when Maguire was in Leicester, it was like this was actually a thing. This was actually a thing. But anyways, we'll let our viewers give us, we'll let you guys give us your own top three as well. One thing we know is that, Ferdinand, Van Dijk, and John Terry seem like the obvious, three names. But who knows? Some of our viewers might have names like Mustafi, you know, and all of that in there. So we want to hear from our viewers watching this video. Name your top three center backs in Premier League history, and do you agree with some of our opinions, some of the picks we've made, and tell us why you agree or you do not. We'd love to hear from you. Until we come your way next time for another ranking video, stay cool.